Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today's story is about family, tradition, and what happens when entitlement meets cold, hard justice. You know how some families have those pieces, those irreplaceable heirlooms that carry decades of history? For my family, that was my grandfather's engagement ring. It was gorgeous, priceless, and meant everything to me. But my cousin, Sarah, thought she was entitled to it. When I got engaged and received that ring, Sarah didn't just get mad, she launched a full-scale campaign to destroy my life, claiming I wasn't worthy of our family history. She thought she could publicly humiliate me at my own engagement party. But what she didn't know was that while she was busy plotting sabotage, I uncovered her deepest, most embarrassing secrets that were about to cost her everything. You are not going to believe the meltdown that followed. Let's dive into the story of the heirloom queen. My cousin demanded my grandfather's heirloom ring, saying, "You don't deserve our family history." When I refused, she tried to ruin my engagement party, so I exposed her secret engagement and watched her $42,000 debt come due in front of the entire family. The ring. That's where this entire saga begins. It's not just any ring, it's my grandfather's engagement ring. Custom designed back in the 1940s, a stunning Art Deco setting with a central sapphire surrounded by vintage diamonds. It had been passed down through our family for 3 generations. It wasn't just metal and stone, it was the physical representation of our history, and frankly, it was magnificent. When Tom proposed to me 6 months ago, using that very ring, I was ecstatic. He got down on one knee right in the middle of our favorite hiking trail, covered in mud and looking completely overwhelmed, and I cried for a solid 10 minutes before I even managed to say yes. It was perfect. Tom and I had been dating for 4 years. We were stable, we were happy, and we were ready. Tom runs a successful financial analytics firm, and I'm a senior marketing manager. We were exactly the kind of couple you'd expect to settle down. The moment I posted the ring selfie on Instagram, I knew I was in trouble. Not from my friends, they were all amazing, but from my cousin, Sarah. Sarah and I are technically first cousins, but we couldn't be more different. Sarah is the definition of entitled. She believes she is the main character in every scenario and has always been obsessed with status and appearance. She's currently 28, living at home, trying to launch a wildly expensive, completely unprofitable lifestyle brand. The day after I posted the picture, Sarah called me. I should have known better than to pick up. "It's about the ring," she said, without even a hello. Her voice was tight with suppressed rage. "Isn't it beautiful?" I gushed, trying to inject some positivity into the conversation. "No, it's ours," she spat out. "And you shouldn't have it." I felt my blood run cold. "Sarah, what are you talking about? Grandpa gave it to my father, and Dad passed it to Tom. It's traditional." "Traditional," she scoffed. "Eliza, you're an analytics manager who wears sensible flats and drives a boring sedan. You don't host parties. You don't have the name, the profile. That ring belongs to someone who is going to elevate our family, not someone who hides in the suburbs." It should have gone to me. This was typical Sarah. She genuinely believed her vague lifestyle brand and incessant Instagram posting made her more deserving of a treasured heirloom than someone who actually, worked for a living. I tried to be reasonable. "Sarah, you're not even engaged. And even if you were, you're not entitled to my engagement ring." She went silent for a moment, and when she spoke again, her voice was dripping with venom. "Fine. You keep it for now. But you mark my words, Eliza, you're not worthy of that sapphire. And I will make sure the family knows it." She hung up before I could respond. I tried to brush it off, but I knew Sarah. That wasn't an empty threat. It was a promise. Over the next few weeks, the small, petty attacks started. First, she unfollowed me on all social media and then messaged everyone in our immediate family complaining that I was disrespecting the family legacy by wearing the ring. She even insinuated to our grandmother that Tom was financially irresponsible. This really hit me hard because our grandmother, bless her heart, is the sweetest person alive, but she's also a bit of a gossip, and she values stability above all else. Tom had to spend a whole afternoon showing Grandma his firm's quarterly reports just to quell her fears about our future. The real trouble started when we planned the engagement party. We decided on a low-key garden party at our house, nice, but not overly flashy. Sarah, however, insisted on helping with the guest list and planning. Which, translated, meant trying to take over everything. She demanded we hold it at the most expensive venue in the city, using her contacts, and insisted we invite all her influencer friends who didn't know us from Adam. When I gently pushed back, saying we wanted something personal, she pitched a massive fit to my mom, claiming I was trying to exclude her. My mom, who usually tries to keep the peace, called me exasperated. Just let her handle the flowers, honey. Please. It's not worth the drama. So I let Sarah choose the flowers, which turned out to be $1,500 worth of exotic orchids that clashed hideously with everything else, but whatever. Peace at any price, right? Wrong. 2 weeks before the party, things went from petty to deeply malicious. Sarah started texting my bridesmaids and closer cousins, spreading rumors about Tom. She claimed he was having an affair with his CFO and that the only reason we were getting married was because I was pressuring him before his company collapsed. These were total, despicable lies. Tom's company was thriving, and he and I were closer than ever. But the rumors started working. My cousin Lisa, bless her paranoid soul, called me in tears asking if it was true. I spent hours reassuring her, but the damage was done. Sarah had weaponized misinformation and aimed it right at the foundations of my relationship. That night, I was sitting with Tom, utterly defeated. I can't believe she's doing this, I sighed, running my fingers over the sapphire ring. Tom, who is normally the most patient man alive, looked at me with a rare intensity. She's trying to dismantle your reputation to steal your happiness. We can't just let her make a scene at the party, Eliza. We need a countermove. I realized he was right. I was tired of being the bigger person. I was tired of letting Sarah's entitlement dictate my emotional state. It was time to fight back, but not with petty gossip. With cold, hard facts. Tom's firm specializes in financial due diligence for high-net-worth individuals, which means he has contacts everywhere, lawyers, accountants, and private investigators. We decided to put Sarah under the magnifying glass. If she was willing to lie about our future, what was she hiding about hers? We started with social media, cross-referencing her lifestyle brand photos with public records. It took Tom about 48 hours to uncover the first bombshell. Sarah wasn't just struggling financially, she was drowning. We found public documents showing a massive collection of unsecured credit card debt, totaling over $42,000, spread across 3 different accounts. She was using minimum payments and hoping for a miracle. But the real shocker came when Tom's contact at the county clerk's office found something truly bizarre. A marriage license application had been pulled a year prior, filed by Sarah Elizabeth D. and a man named Mark T. The license had expired, but the application proved she had been planning to get married, or maybe was already engaged, long before my engagement. I dug into Mark T. He wasn't the European financier Sarah occasionally mentioned on her stories. He was a junior analyst at a mid-tier accounting firm, living in a cramped apartment downtown. Not exactly the status she projected. Then, I found the clincher. A few weeks prior, Sarah had posted a cryptic message on a private wedding planning forum about hiding the date until the funds are secured. She clearly wanted a massive, status symbol wedding, but had no money for it. My theory solidified. Sarah wanted my ring not for the history, but for the cash, or perhaps to force our family to fund her own ostentatious wedding to save face, using my engagement as the catalyst for her meltdown. We now had everything: the motive, jealousy/greed, the hidden financial crisis, and the shocking lie, secret engagement. What do we do with this? I asked Tom, feeling a thrilling mix of fear and excitement. We let her walk into her own trap, Tom said, smiling coldly. She wants a scene? We'll give her a stage. But she won't be the star. We spent the next day preparing my gift for Sarah. It wasn't a book of documents, it was something far more public and pointed. The engagement party day arrived. Despite Sarah's terrible orchids, the house looked beautiful. The sun was shining, the champagne was flowing, and the family was there, including Grandma, who was still side-eyeing Tom a little, thanks to Sarah. Sarah arrived looking stunning, wearing a dress that cost more than my mortgage payment. She fluttered around, accepting compliments and avoiding eye contact with me. I could sense the tension radiating off her. She was wound tighter than a spring, waiting for her moment. About an hour in, when the crowd was at its largest and everyone was gathered around the patio, Tom tapped a glass for attention. He gave a beautiful, heartfelt toast to me, ending with, "I look forward to spending the rest of my life building our future together, free of any and all debts." That phrase, "free of any and all debts," was the first shot. Sarah flinched. As the applause died down, Sarah saw her opening. She grabbed a microphone from the DJ stand before he could stop her, her eyes blazing with fake concern. "Before we get too excited about the future," Sarah announced dramatically, her voice echoing across the yard, "I think we need to talk about the present. Specifically, the financial health of this union. I've heard some troubling things about Tom's stability." The crowd went silent. My parents looked horrified. Grandma looked like she was about to faint. "Sarah, stop," I said, stepping toward her. "No, Eliza. This is for your own good," she cried, playing the martyr. "We can't let you walk into a situation where you're going to be constantly bailing out your partner, or worse. Or worse, discovering that my partner and I are already covering major debts that we didn't agree to take on." I interrupted, my voice perfectly calm and projection-ready. Sarah froze. "What are you talking about?" I took the microphone from her, my hands shaking only slightly. "I'm talking about honesty, Sarah. Something you clearly value very little." I gestured to Tom, who clicked a remote. The large flat-screen TV we had set up to show a slideshow of our relationship photos suddenly switched to a clean, professionally formatted presentation. The title read, "Due Diligence, The Real Status of Sarah E.D." The first slide showed the scanned image of her marriage license application, bolded and annotated with the date. "Many of you are here to celebrate Tom and me," I addressed the stunned crowd. "But Sarah, the one who is so concerned about the sanctity of marriage and family heirlooms, has been hiding something big. This application shows that Sarah has been secretly engaged, possibly married, for over a year to a man named Mark. A man who, I might add, is not the successful, high-status fiancé she has repeatedly promised our family." Gasps rippled through the crowd. My grandparents looked devastated. Sarah started yelling, "This is fake. This is harassment." "Is it?" I smiled and clicked the remote again. The next slide showed photos of Sarah and Mark together at a small, obviously rushed courthouse ceremony, a photo I had found after digging deep into Mark's private social media. Speaking of honesty, I continued, pressing the ultimate button. "Sarah has often worried aloud about our financial health. Which is interesting, given that she is currently carrying $42,000 in personal debt that is currently in default." I clicked the slide again. It showed an aggregate report summary from a major financial institution, clearly outlining the delinquent accounts. Sarah shrieked, a sound of pure, unadulterated panic. "You hacked me. That's illegal." "No hacking required, Sarah," Tom interjected smoothly, taking the mic back. "As a matter of fact, one of those accounts is serviced by a firm that partners closely with mine. This information is legally accessible and verifiable." It appears Sarah was hoping the big wedding she was planning would necessitate a large family handout to cover these massive, irresponsible debts. The entire crowd was staring, not at me, but at Sarah, who was hyperventilating. Then, a new voice cut in. "Sarah, what the hell is going on?" It was Mark, her actual fiancé, who had been hiding awkwardly in the corner all evening, avoiding attention. He clearly hadn't known about the $42,000 debt. "Mark?" Sarah's mother stammered, looking at the man in the corner. "Who is that?" The scene devolved instantly. Sarah rushed at me, trying to grab the remote, but Tom stepped in front of her. She started crying, screaming that I was jealous and a liar, even as the evidence was displayed in giant font behind her. Her parents, utterly mortified, dragged her away. I watched as they forcefully escorted her, screaming and struggling, out of my yard. Mark, bewildered and furious, followed shortly after, demanding answers about the debt. The air was thick with shock after they left. My grandmother rushed over to me and Tom, gripping my hands. "I am so sorry, Eliza. We were fools to believe her." My parents apologized profusely, admitting they had long known Sarah was toxic but never expected her to sink so low. The party didn't immediately restart. It took a while to settle the tension. But once the focus shifted away from the drama, it became a genuine celebration. Everyone, especially the older relatives who had always championed Sarah, came up to me and Tom, expressing support and apologies for allowing her entitlement to run rampant for so long. The aftermath was swift. Sarah's parents, finally faced with the reality of her lies and her huge debt, cut her off completely. They made it clear that she would receive no financial assistance until she got a real job, paid off her debts, and went to therapy. She and Mark, predictably, broke up a week later, unable to handle the financial fallout and the public humiliation. As for me, I kept the ring. I got the apologies I deserved, and for the first time, Sarah lost the power she had always held over my side of the family. The best part? I didn't have to spread a single rumor. I just presented the facts. And sometimes, the truth is the most satisfying revenge of all. Wow! What a mic drop moment. Eliza didn't just win the battle, she won the war against years of entitlement, and she did it with pure, undeniable truth. Now, I want to hear what you think. Was Eliza's public exposure of Sarah's debt and secret engagement justified, or did she go too far? Let me know your thoughts on this perfect revenge in the comments below. If you were cheering for Eliza, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss another incredible story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.